you normally have internal misunderstandings and fights within political parties, not just you as the NRM, but across the divide. How would Oulanya handle this, starting with that very area where he was, I would say, underlooked as a new entrant? Time comes for him to become deputy speaker. It was a tight thing, not very easy for him even to convince the NRM group. Then he met Mohamed Nsereko in parliament. Then the time when he wanted to become speaker, how has he been handling such situations where he meets hurdles within the party?
Oulanya was a very close friend of mine. Indeed, really close. When he was running against Honorable Nsereko,
yes,
I remember advising him against running as before running for against Nsereko. Oulanya was going for the speakership. He was running against Honorable Kadaga. We were the ones who went to him and said, no. With what we have seen and what we have known about the mobilization that is going on,
you may not win.
If you go for speakership, you are not going to win, and yet for deputy speaker they have already brought in Nsereko, and we are losing out. So the best thing, go back for deputy and let Kadaga go for speaker, and we concentrate and make sure you retain your position as a deputy. He accepted that, but a bit with a rigidity. Why? Because the Busoga Buganda caucus had mobilized for Kadaga and Nsereko heavily.
Yes.
So we now came back with a bang to make sure Oulanya regained his position as a deputy speaker. And it was a very rough campaign. And finally we succeeded, and he went through as a deputy speaker. When Oulanya was the speaker, of course, a lot of people were like, no, he's too strict, he keeps time, he keeps saying for us we are not, we've been getting complaints from the MPs. He says we are not educated, we don't do research, we speak from ignorance. But that is what the speaker should tell you. When you're on the floor of parliament, you have to speak with the facts.
You should
the
present
source of your information.
Yes.
You don't just speak gossip or rumors in parliament.
Like a councillor in the local areas.
You are a whole member of parliament. It goes in the handsets. Tomorrow, whatever you're going to say might be used in universities for studies, for references. So you need to do research if you're making presentation before parliament. So he wanted to build parliament to get to a certain level of quality debate. But there are other members of parliament who are saying, no, this man is too strict. He overkeeps time, because when he says, I'm coming at 2, the session starts at 2. At 2 is on his chair. There are things we do as leaders that impact positively on the people that follow us and observe us. And so when someone keeps time, you know that, yes, if Oulanya says he will be there by 2 he'll be there.
So
by
where
2,
do you
the
see,
session will start.
Where do you see the 11th parliament that has lost Oulanya and the pair of Kadaga and Oulanya now almost at a go? Because these are two people that both had a 10 years training as deputy speakers. We now have Anita Among, who has been, of course, deputy speaker for just a year or something. Then Thomas Taibo, who has been an MP,
the
government chief whip for some little time. And actually we have new speakers. We have a new pair of leaders in parliament, the 11th parliament. Where do you see?
And the composition of the 11th parliament is about 80% new.
Exactly.
And so everything is new.
I want a description of the parliament we have from you.
Yeah. But it all goes back to, yes, we are happy and confident that the party that many of these MPs come from, which is the National Resistance Movement Party, has groomed leaders for a long time. We have seen this turnover over time. We have seen people, quite a number of leaders in NRM passed on, right from the time the revolution was not yet in government. When they were fighting, commanders were dying. When they took over government, quite a number of commanders died because of HIV/AIDS. The national chairman started recruiting and grooming new commanders who took over. So it has been a process over years. And as long as the leadership of the revolution is still intact, we believe that grooming of leaders is a consistent and a constant process. Yes, you groom a leader that has that quality that can be groomed. And I believe that the period the two have been in parliament and have been seeing how parliamentary business is conducted, especially the Right Honourable Speaker Anita Among, who has been a deputy to Oulanya. She has been mentored by Oulanya greatly, and she has been taken through the rules of procedures of parliament by Oulanya and done everything. I'm sure she will with other support staffs she has around her, she should do a good job. The same with the Honorable Taibo.
How did you handle the tensions of that arose during the speakership elections between Jacob Oulanya the late and the Right Honorable Kadaga? How did you come to that situation as a party?
Some of us were accused wrongfully that we belong to CAMS because we were under instructions that as the secretariat of the party, we shouldn't support any candidate because all of them were our supporters. Kadaga was your own second national vice chair of the party, representing the female, the ladies. Oulanya is the regional vice chairman of the party, and therefore they are all our national leaders. So as a secretariat, our role was to give equal platform for all of them. Formally.
But naturally.
But that is what happened. That is what happened. And one good thing is that when the Central Executive Committee of the party sat and decides that Oulanya should take the flag and Kadaga should be given another assignment, that was what we went and informed caucus of the party, and the caucus implemented that. And fortunately, Kadaga came to contest as an independent, if you recall. But at the end of the day, the party's interests prevailed over her, and she was appointed to do something else. And now, Oulanya reached out to so many people who did not support him. That is one trait that I really admired with him. He was reaching out to those that he perceived to have not supported him during the after the election. He reached out to so many of them. He called them on phone. He talked to them. Many are testifying at the moment. He called them and was saying, let us now work together. The campaigns are over. I am a speaker for everybody.
Did he call Kadaga?
I am not sure, but he must have tried. From what I know, Oulanya was. He must have tried to reach out to Right Honorable Kadaga. But as to whether they spoke, I'm not so sure. But I know he must have reached out to her. Because with him, the Oulanya that I knew, he would not even stay for long without reaching out to his enemies.
Why do you think the Right Honorable Kadaga chose to go independent?
You know, it was just a partly, I think, you see, when you mobilize, because all of them were mobilizing supporters in parliament. Oulanya was mobilizing, Kadaga was mobilizing, and so they all had support. So when SEC decided like that, Kadaga's supporters told her that, no, we can mobilize, we can join hands with opposition, and you can win.
Take it.
And you take it. Come and contest as an independent. I think that was the most unfortunate thing that
Actually,
happened.
let me take this comment from you as we take a break. There is a belief that as a party, you exerted a lot of energy
because
as a
party, once the party decides, everybody follows. We have to make sure that the party's decision takes precedence over any other decision.
That's what justifies the energy that we saw.
The end justifies the means. The rules of the Machiavellian.
Thank you so much.